Everybody, happy Friday. This is Overpass Live. My name's Eric. I make apps. This is the weekly live stream where we just hang out and talk about whatever we want to talk about. There's no set topic. There's no subject. We just talk about, stuff. And the last couple of weeks we had Rodrigo with us, so we kind of a new thing. And today we have from the podcast On the Wire with Appaveli. I'm going to get it wrong. We have Appaveli, Dominique. Yes. Hey, Dom, how's it going?
It's going well. How about you?
I'm doing good. It's just been one of those. It's been God, it's just a week. It seems like the weeks just go so quick. I've been doing a lot of client work. So before we started the live stream, we were talking about our own apps, and I've been so focused on client work and just go, either getting new clients or working with existing clients that my own apps have kind of taken the backseat. So Dom or Appaveli, should I call you Appaveli or Dom?
You can call me Appaveli. People call me a lot of stuff.
So Appaveli, he does have apps on the App Store, and we were talking a little bit about the video that went out today, which was about whether or not it's even worth putting an app out there, and lots of other stuff. So Appaveli, first tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been a software developer for 10 years now. It doesn't seem like it. I have apps in the Play Store, in the Microsoft Store. I have a lot of success in the Microsoft Store and the Play Store. I haven't published to iOS yet, but I will eventually. I have a Mac now, so I can publish iOS apps. And I have a software company called Appaveli. And I'll just go ahead and get into it. I got the name actually from a friend in California. He's a rapper. His name is Def Jeff, and he's a friend. And he was a friend of Tupac. And I was just talking to him about how I make apps. And, we're just sitting outside Starbucks, and he's like, I'm going to call you Appaveli. And I'm like, what? And I said, you know what? That's actually a catchy name. So I just kind of ran with it. And most people I talked to, I like this name. A lot of marketers, I like this name. So I changed my company name to Appaveli. And
that's a cool. So I chose the name Overpass because I was working a contract at BBC in London, and I opened a thesaurus and started typing in bridge. It was just like that was it. And then it was wasn't even a cool story. I got it from Microsoft Word thesaurus.
It's crazy how names come, like how how you get names for a company or nicknames, right? It's just it's good when it's organic, rather than just sitting down and writing on paper a list of names. Sometimes it comes to you.
Yeah, we were doing we're trying to do a product for a client and trying to come up with a name. It's difficult because you either go really technical, like techno, whatever, or you get something that's really obscure, and then or an acronym, and it's really difficult to do. But so let's just quickly say hello to who's here. We got Billy. Billy's here. Hey, Billy, how's it going? What's popping, Billy? How's it going?
Let me ask: how's the camera? Is the lighting okay?
Yeah, it's a little bit dark, and I can just see your top, not the top of your forehead. We probably should have done this before, but no, it's all right.
Let me see. Well, how about now?
That's better. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So we've got Billy says what's poppin'. We got Top Video says, hey Eric, happy Friday. I want to update my app, but I forgot the key store password. What should I do? We'll come back to that one.
What with the key store?
Yeah, the key store. Yeah, you can't do anything if you lost a key store, right?
Unless you opt into app signing with Google Play, right?
Yeah. Which is something I've never done because I started before that existed. So all of my key stores are in Git. And then I have an Evernote file. Well, I shouldn't tell you that because it hacked my Evernote. But I put all my passwords in Evernote. So at least I know that they're synced and they're always there. So everything is in the cloud for mine. But so that's what I do. But yeah, because I've done that before. I've talked about it before. I've lost my key store file. Now, whether or not you've lost a password, I think it's the same as losing your key store file. Otherwise, because if you could hack it, it would be useless. But And as Rupak says, remove your application. Top video, good vibes. Aiden Mack says, hey, what's hot, Eric? England is hot this week, and probably North Carolina. So Appaveli's in North Carolina, so it's probably hot over there too, I'm assuming.
It's too hot.
Mega Man says he's fifth. And then, hey, Appaveli, what's your name on play on Machiavelli? Friend gave you this. Cool. So that's you. Shurjan Lukic, good evening. Good evening, Shurjan. Graham Knight, hello from Ontario, Canada. Hey, Graham, how's it going? And thanks for your email earlier. John Mollahan, happy weekend. A happy weekend to you too. Matthew Creek says still making $2 to $3 a day. So we were talking about this before. Through AdMob, I'm making about like between 7 and 10 pounds a day. So mine have really taken a tumble. And because one of my big apps was removed. Appaveli, how are you doing? Is most of your revenue through AdMob or purchases or what?
Both. Mostly purchases.
Yeah.
Actually, I actually make more in the Microsoft Store than I do in the Play Store.
See, that's something that fast because I've never put anything on the Microsoft Store. I think I set up an account. I think as I'm a Mac user, probably the same reason why you don't have anything on the iOS store is because when it comes to the Microsoft, what languages do you use?
I use Java for Android and I use C# for Windows.
Oh, so you're actually native?
Native, yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, cool. All right.
And I'm in the process of learning Swift.
Wow, you're hardcore. I would have thought you were going to cross-platform when you said Windows Store, but Fist007 says, hi, what's up, Eric? Hey, how's it going? Where's Rodrigo? Rodrigo's, I guess we try to switch it up a little bit. Rodrigo's still there. He was like really helpful this week, but even he was saying like, maybe, you need to change up a little bit. So that's like, the first person I thought of was Appaveli because I've been following him on Instagram. He's got his podcast and that's what I thought. So I appreciate you coming on. Let's see. Modi says, hey, Eric, have you ever tried Black Hat ASO techniques? Because Black Hat ASO seems to be more cool than normal ASO techniques. I never have. I just think it's cheating. And I've never done anything that would be considered Black Hat, like buying reviews or anything like that.
I think in the early days that might have worked, right? In the very beginning.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, one of the things that bothered, it wasn't because I was like, for me, it wasn't because, like, I kind of thought if everybody's doing it, I'll do it. Like, I don't want to, like, not be able to rank because everybody else is doing it and I'm not because I think it's, because I'm above it. No, it was more like I was just terrified of getting suspended because of using something like that. So I never have. But, yeah, maybe in the early days. Have you ever done anything like that, Appaveli?
Nah, I've always felt is best is organic.
Yeah.
If you want reviews, just make a good app and market it. And now to get reviews, like sometimes, let's say you get an email from a customer, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times people don't really know to leave a review. So try to leave a feature in your app to where you can ask them for a review without being annoying, of course. But usually when I get an email from a customer saying, hey, can you implement this feature? Once I implement the feature and they're happy with it, I'll say, hey, can you leave a review? And to me, that's the best way to get reviews.
Cool. Yeah, no, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, we respond every review. We beg for reviews, but yeah, definitely especially if you help somebody out, ask them for a positive. Yeah, that's a really good plan, especially if you've gone up above and beyond. Let's see. Fist007 says, hi, Appaveli. There's for you. Graham says, welcome, Appaveli. And Muhammad Ahmed says, hi, which I suppose is to both of us. So let's see.
Hello to everyone. I'm glad to be here. This is my first time doing a live with someone on YouTube. So bear with me, everyone.
Well, you know what? So I did this. So when my channel started to grow a little bit, I went to the YouTube consultants, and they said, you should consider doing live streams. And I thought that sounds terrifying. And the first time I did it, because I thought, first of all, what if nobody shows up? And then we could like, what if we got in a fight? Like, there's like so much that could go wrong. Like, no pressure. But yeah. But no, but it is fun. It's fun to do. Chris Bala says, "Hey Eric, what do you think of the Apple/Google delisting Fortnite, giving users a discount for not using in-app purchase?" Yeah, I was going to talk about that. In fact, I was going to do a video on that today, but I'd already done the other one. But yeah, I mean, this is something that this is like a lot of times people will say, we should just boycott Apple. Like, we should just like remove our apps from Apple, and then boy, they'll be like. But there's like they don't care about the little developers, the indie developers. But Fortnite, I mean, imagine being like the reason you got an iPhone or an Android is so your kids could play Fortnite, or you got it for your kids, and then they remove it. That's like, that's the kind of thing where I think there'll be an outcry, and hopefully that gets some that helps out with the whole thing. But I mean, it's that 30% has always been a huge chunk. And there's always been people trying to get around it. I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Appaveli?
What was the question?
So I don't know if there was in the news today and yesterday. So Fortnite is they released a feature so that people could go onto their website and buy. I'm not a Fortnite player, so I think it's like Fortnite dollars.
Removed the app from the store, right?
Yeah. So and then Google Play removed it also.
And I think I read they're going to sue.
Yeah. Like they had it already set up. Like they'd already set up, ready to the lawsuit. They filed it like immediately as they were suspended. So.
What if I don't know how that will work. I mean, again, we have to look at what are their policies. Like,
Yeah.
It's a complicated thing, right? Because.
Yeah. I kind of think like it's like. So I've had clients where we've come. Oh, thanks everybody for smashing the like button. By the way, I gotta keep saying that. I always forget to say that. So yeah, that's one of the things. It's like going in, that there's that 30%, but it is a lot. But I mean, that's the cost of going onto the store. I mean, that's the cost of the thing. But like, if you go to Amazon, I think. Yeah, if you go to Amazon and buy an you buy a book on Audible or Amazon, use it on the iOS store, you can't even buy it there. They won't even have that function because they have to go to the in-app purchase, and it's not worth them adding the extra 30%. And you can't make it so they go to another website and get a discount. But I think I'm kind of, to me, I kind of see Fortnite as being, well. Part of me sees Fortnite as being the underdog, but then like Appaveli, like you were saying, it's like that's the policies. Like it's they went into it knowing what those were, and they didn't have to make it make it cheaper to go to the website and buy them for cheaper, which I think is the issue. So, but yeah, I mean that's. I see, and I think Chris is like, I don't know, I'm not a Fortnite player, so like for me, the fact that Fortnite is like not going to be available is not like a huge deal to me, but also I'm really watching it closely to see what happens, because I think they're the ones, they're the ones that are gonna that have some sort of sway in it. Now, I've also said, like when my app got suspended. Or like when the repetitive content policy comes in, I said, I bet they're not doing this with King. King has all these different Candy Crush things, but King's like this big company, so I'm sure they don't get these kind of problems. So part of me is like, at least we know that they're treating the big companies just as badly as they treat indie developers. So there's no double standards there, which is what I kind of thought to begin with. But cool. So Powell Petrick says, "Hey Eric, what frameworks do you use for writing apps? What do you think of Flutter?" Flutter, what is Flutter? Is that some sort of framework? So we get this question like every single week. I think Flutter is a good. Right now I'm using Xamarin because I'm doing a bunch of client projects. I've done Ionic in the past. Appaveli's a native guy, and I've done some.
I'm interested in learning Xamarin as well.
Yeah.
Since I'm C#, especially if you start doing client work, I think is it's necessary to learn a framework, right? I don't think you want to build a native version of both apps, depending on the use case. But if you're building something for a client, it's easier to just use a framework, right?
Yeah, especially so I'm working with a client. They're like very much a .NET shop, so they're using Azure as a backend, and all this kind of stuff. And so when I was going to rewrite the app, I was kind of going like the Flutter route, and they were saying we'd really like it done in Xamarin. So my background was C#, and I was like a SharePoint developer and a ASP.NET and classic ASP and VB and all that stuff. So for me, like it was almost like getting back into that. There's certain things I didn't realize I missed in C#, like link. Like link is so, you load up your data objects and you query it over several times over. That's something that I kind of missed. And after a while I get that. But for me, the Xamarin, the package sizes are pretty high. Flutter is, I think, going to be, I like the fluidity of Flutter. And the hot reloading. Xamarin's kind of got hot reloading now too, but XAML is kind of clunky. I think it's kind of clunky using XAML like in the Silverlight days. But those are some of the things I use now. So yeah, and then we've done some stuff with React Native. I've done a lot of Ionic V1 stuff. And what else? Oh, Corona. I've done a lot of Corona SDK, which is now called Solar 2D. But Appaveli, have you used any frameworks, or just? I know you said you did natives, but are there any frameworks that you use?
I played around with PhoneGap years ago.
Oh yeah, I did PhoneGap. So yeah, PhoneGap. I did PhoneGap to begin with too, and I got the book on PhoneGap, and everyone talked about PhoneGap being slow, but that's what like Ionic came in, and which PhoneGap became Cordova, and then that became like the open source stuff. PhoneGap is still there, but let's see. Billy says Appaveli should adjust your camera. The lighting is very low. Just a suggestion. So I know you probably already saw it. I've seen you like moving around over there. So.
Let me, because I keep seeing the chat with the lighting. So this is my first time, guys. So just bear with me. This is the best that is going to be. Hopefully, if I come on here again, the lighting will be better. So
yeah, I should have said something. Yeah, I didn't really. Yeah, cool. We'll just pretend like you're like on the news when they have somebody, they're like, we've hidden his identity. I think it looked fine. Let's see. Appaveli. It sounds like app at a valley. I don't know. Let's see. Mega Man says, I thought it was Tupac related. Oh. Fistable 7 says, what kind of software do your company build, Appaveli? So yeah, what kind of stuff have you done? I mean, I know you probably got clients. Do you do client work or just?
Yeah, I'm actually doing client work now for a company. So Android development.
Okay. Cool.
Right now, but I can do iOS, Android, Windows.
Yeah. Cool. So I hope I'm okay to ask this. Is your company
also too enterprise development too? I have a background in Java Enterprise.
Okay. Like
where most of my experience is, like using Spring, Hibernate.
Okay. Cool. All right. Awesome. So I mean, is it okay if I ask? Is your company like a one-person company, or are you working with others, or is it
just me right now?
Cool.
No, it's just me right now.
Yeah, well, that's why it's always so like for me, it's just me, and then I have my team in the Philippines, and I keep thinking I need to hire somebody locally, and I have hired people locally where I've had the office with the people in it, but then it goes up, it goes down, it just but that's kind of what I think a lot of people watching it the same. I see. So Chris says try close. I gave you seen all stuff. So Graham Knight says would love to hear more about the Microsoft App Store, how to even get started there. Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing too. So like the reason I've never gone to the Microsoft App Store was because I just kind of assumed it was like not worth it. I kind of, because of the small market share of Windows Mobile. But is it like, are you doing Windows Mobile apps or doing just?
No. Well, mobile's dead, right?
Yeah.
Mostly doing UWP apps.
So that's Universal Windows
1 second. Let me
Okay.
unplug something. Okay. Okay.
You responded.
What's the question? Is it UW? What is UWP?
Yeah, well, UWP is Universal Windows Program, something like
Universal
that.
Windows Platform.
Platform. Okay. All right. Cool.
So basically, you can build an app to run on Windows 10 devices, Surface, laptop, PCs, Xbox. So I started developing Windows Phone apps in 2013.
Yeah.
When it started to get some traction, right? But we know how that, how Windows Phone just kind of took off. But at the time, I made pretty decent money doing Windows Phone apps. I know people talk about the market share is small, but even though the small market share is bigger than some countries, right? So there's still money to be made. So I think we tend to look at where it's crowded and say, well, it's popular in the Play Store, it's popular in the App Store. Let's just publish there, and we just forget about a market, even if it's small.
Yeah.
And even in the Microsoft Store, like users are buying because there's not enough apps. So if you make a good app, you can make pretty decent money. So a few of my apps right now, my football playbook, basketball playbook, I have a wedding budget planner. Those are paid apps, and they make pretty decent money.
Really?
Yeah,
cool.
And those are for desktop and Xbox.
Okay, awesome.
So if you buy once, it will run on the Xbox as well. So I think, let's say you want to make an Android app, right?
Yeah.
Why not make a desktop app that's like a companion, like where you can communicate with each other? So like for my basketball app, let's say I have a coach who has an Android or an iOS device, but he's a Windows user or even a Mac user. Why not build a desktop application? Because people are using multiple devices now. So he might want to manage his team roster on his phone, and then he's on his computer. He can pull up the data on the software on his laptop as well. So there's different use cases where desktop is still useful.
Yeah. Well, this is a question I got. Now I got this from a client this week. They were saying if we do this, because I did an Android. It was actually an Ionic application for them years ago, and they said they want to have a desktop application too. Is that can they run the Android application on the Windows desktop? And I was like, I'm not actually. I think they might be coming out with something like that, but it was like no, we'd have to do something. And I was thinking about using Electron or something like that, but yeah, no, it's definitely like a lot of people do. So for me. Like I use WhatsApp on the desktop because I can't type on the little thing, even though I get messages on WhatsApp or I get on Skype. And a lot of times I need to sit at my desktop. So I like the fact that you have the desktop application and the mobile. So it does make sense to have all of them there. But
yeah, because people are not just using phones anymore. So it's just there's a number of devices that people are using.
Yeah.
And if you have a good idea for a desktop app, why not create it? And I think people's biggest fear is I'm going to make this app and I'm not going to make money.
Yeah.
Build an app to solve a problem. And like I said, you'd be surprised who will download your app. Even if it's just a little bit of money. I mean, it's still some type of revenue. It's, something better than nothing.
Now, do you do like, so you do paid applications or do you do free applications within?
Well, here's the thing. So Microsoft removed their advertising program, which was a big blow to some developers. So a lot of developers switched to in-app purchases or paid apps. And I don't know if there are a lot of ad networks that support UWP apps.
Yeah.
I think there's maybe one, but I can't think of the name right now. But, I'm not saying people should just start making Windows apps
but the reason I asked is I had like a consultancy a couple of years ago with somebody, and actually it was a couple people. They wanted me to look at their apps or whatever. They had iOS apps, but they only had iOS paid apps. And I was like, oh, is there a free version? Is there in-app purchases? Because my way of thinking is always like, you need the free version, otherwise, people aren't just going to pay, without knowing what it looks like. But no, they did. They were able to use advertising because they had the paid applications, and it was just a one shot, make the payment. But then because it wasn't cheap. It wasn't like 99 cents. They could afford advertising and get it in front of the people who would actually use it. I mean, so that's why I was asking about whether or not it's paid, because it made me start to rethink my strategy in that way. And then I did take my big app, the paid version, like just a full on just paid, right? And because it's easier to code. I hate debugging in-app purchases. So it was just easier to code. It was just, but I was also making,
Give me 10 seconds. Let me open the window. Maybe this will help with the lighting.
Okay, cool. So I'll continue my story. So so that was, I raised the price from like $3.99 up to like $8.99, and then I had like $6 per user acquisition, and it was going for a while until it got suspended. Anyway, but let's see. We've got Mega Man says face the window. I like it. Everyone's giving you tips on the lighting. Theo Taylor says Barbados is hot. Man, I'll bet. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't be complaining about the heat in England this week. Compilation Videos Unlimited says hello from Morocco. Hey, how's it going? Aiden Max says Appaveli looks like he's in the witness protection program. Yeah, that's kind of what I said. Bart Raka. Hey, Bart, how's it going? Hey, Eric, just saw your last video. The app space is amazing market and only continues to grow with more opportunities. All it takes is a lot of hard work, self-belief, and drive. Don't stop. So, Bart, actually, Bart is, when you sent me that email about what your revenue was and you were telling me all about it, you were the one where I thought, actually, this does work. And I was kind of wondering, when I made the video, I was wondering what you would think of that, because, like, you were very successful at it, and it's even Appaveli, we were talking before the video, said actually no, it is we got to be positive about these kind of things, and maybe I was a bit.
Let's talk about that. So I'd like to know everyone's opinion about how they feel about publishing apps in 2020 in the Play Store, in the App Store. Do you feel like there's no hope? Do you still feel like there's opportunity? How does everyone feel about that? And then we can discuss it, because I think it's something to discuss, because you hear, okay, the app stores are oversaturated, right? There's so many apps. It's been this way probably for the last 5 years. Let's say about 2014, 2015, I think is when we started to say, okay, starting to get saturated now. You have to really build quality apps. In the early days, you can just make, a camera, a flashlight app.
Right? Or fart machine.
Yeah, and you can just place an ad and make a lot of money. You can't do that now. So I think what people don't understand, like, when you're creating an app, it's a business. It's not just something like, hey, let me just put this in the store. Like, you're providing a service. So it's like sales, right? You're trying to sell the product. So you have to come up with a marketing plan. You have to figure out who your audience is. Like, you have to really think about these things. You can't really just think like a developer when you're distributing your software through the app stores.
Yeah.
Sometimes developers look at that as, that's a lot of work, but I mean, it's just how it is.
Yeah. I mean, it is. See, I think one of my most popular videos is where I talk about my revenue. And a lot of people say, I want to do something like that. And then they get into it for the money reasons. But it's almost like it's, we as software developers, we get to create software. We get to have people, to put it in front of people and have them download it and pay for it. And hopefully, the same ways that actors get to act, or singers get to sing, or athletes get to play, we get to code. And it's sort of like two different ways of people getting into it, because I can make a lot of money doing that. And I've had people ask me that, I've had friends when I told them, oh, I'm doing these apps, and they said, oh, can you make a lot of money doing that? And I said, well, you could, or you could not make a lot of money. The same with everything else. And the more people getting into it, the harder it gets.
Okay, I'll tell you this. So my basketball playbook, right?
Yep.
I developed this app in 2014. Started as a Windows Phone app.
Yeah.
And I really didn't make much money in the beginning. So in 2020, I'm just now, it's one of the top paid sports apps in the Microsoft Store. So it took 5 or 6 years to get to this point, and just keep working on it, making improvements, getting feedback. So it takes time, Sometimes your app might be a 5-year overnight success. So you just have to keep working at it, and you have to really believe in what you're building, and not just think about how much money can I make. Because if money's motivating you, then you're going to lose motivation quick, because you're not going to see money right away. You might, but chances are pretty small that you'll just make it big, in a week or two after launching your app.
Yeah.
Without marketing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So you just have to really be creative on how you promote your app, and that's pretty much what's different now with publishing in the app stores today, as opposed to years ago where you can just let it sit there somewhat and not promote it.
Yeah.
And people were on their phones more, downloading apps, and sometimes people will download an app if they see an ad or they see another YouTuber talking about an app, and they'll say, well, let me download this. So I think trying to network with different people. Let's say you want to build an app for restaurants, right?
Yeah.
And find a YouTuber who talks about food, restaurants, and you have an app that finds the best restaurants, right?
Yeah.
Talk to the YouTube influencer and say, hey, I have an app that does this, finds restaurants in local area. These are their top restaurants. And I'm just naming something. I'm not saying like go do this, but this is an example. And that exposure could help your app generate revenue and more customers. So
it could, yeah, and it has to be relevant to the audience of that YouTuber or that blogger or whatever. Because I get people asking me all the time if I could promote their app, and I'm like, well, I don't think it's something that would be, just like if I say, hey guys, you should try this app because somebody asked me to demo it, and you're like, well, we don't care about that because it's like nothing to do with what the channel's about or what we're interested in. So it's just, or they'll say, okay, great, now do mine, and it'll be all I do is just talk about other people's apps, and it's kind of, but you have to get out there and do that, and I think like when Flappy Birds was a big thing, I can remember because PewDiePie, and I didn't know who PewDiePie was, but he did it on his video and it went viral, and then it's because Flappy Birds was such an easy game, then everybody was cloning it, and I would have like clients come to me saying, I've got this idea, it's like Flappy Birds but with better graphics, and everybody thought it was the game itself that made it big, but it wasn't. It was the marketing. It was getting the right people to mention it, and then getting more people to talk about it, and it snowballed. Let's see. Abison John says, hi Eric, is there a Slack community for Overpass? If not, why don't you start one? We did we have a Facebook group, but it's not, it's called Entrepreneurial Devs at the Overpass. But I think it's just, I'm not sure. I mean, we could have a Slack channel, but I don't know how, would that be beneficial? I mean, I probably wouldn't use it that much because I'm just always busy.
You're probably busy doing other work, right? So you're not going to have time to really Slack, because usually during the week you're probably doing client work, right?
Yeah, I do a lot of client work, and even then, like, I'm trying to get more videos done, trying to do more. I'm dating, which is kind of a new thing, like a thing. There's lots of stuff going on, but yeah, I'll try. So Pork Pie Software says, good morning, gents. It's 4 a.m. Saturday morning here in New Zealand. Hey, how's it going, Pork Pie Software? I made it on time today. Hey, Appaveli, clever. Good to see you. I often listen to your podcast. That's cool. Yeah, let's talk about the podcast, because this is one thing. I've never done a podcast. I always think about it. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool that you do it, because I always think maybe I could, one day I'll do a podcast, but I think, with the videos and stuff. But yeah, Appaveli does have a podcast called. I said it wrong, didn't I? I always say it wrong.
It's wired in with Appaveli.
Wired in with Appaveli.
The funny thing is, years ago, like in 2012, I actually used to post YouTube videos, but then I stopped once I moved and started doing consulting work, right? So I used to post tutorials. I would get on and just talk about my perspective as a developer. And then I just started listening to podcasts more. And I said, you know what, this is something that I think would be beneficial for me. I can just record, talk about what I want. And I enjoy doing it. Now, lately, I haven't been so consistent because I've been busy with client work. I think I published an episode 2 weeks ago. I try doing every week. Or sometimes if there was a topic I want to talk about, I'll just record it. But I would love to get suggestions. What would people like to hear about on a podcast? I know there's a lot of developers who have podcasts that talk about the latest technologies. I talk about those things, but also try to talk about things that, like on the business side, not just, okay, let's learn Xamarin, let's learn C#. Like I did an episode where I talk about like, it doesn't really matter about the language, right? I think we focus so much. Should I learn C#? Should I learn Java? Should I learn Swift? Well, you have to understand what is it that you're actually trying to do. Like I try to talk about things like that as opposed to let's learn the hottest framework.
Well, that's and I think that's good. So like I used to listen to a lot of app podcasts, and it seemed like they descended into promotions for like the guests became people who worked at Gummy Cube or different ASO companies or whatever. And it was like, to me, it was more interesting, like how do developers think? Like just hearing out other, because we all have our own opinions about things. And one of the nice things is being able to say like, I think this technology sucks, or I think this technology is great. And and like you were saying, like which language you learn. That's what we get. I get that question all the time. Which is better, React Native or Flutter? Which is better? Who would win in a fight, React Native or Flutter?
Those are subjective questions. So I might say Xamarin's better, and someone might say Ionic's better, but no one's wrong, right?
Yeah.
So I think as a developer, you have to kind of develop your own style, and those are the kind of things I want to talk about. And like I talk about refactoring code, like how important, like programming is not just, hey, let's just build an app, put it in the store. Like, I try to talk about the craft of a software developer, like writing clean code, like actually caring about, the craft, right? That's why I became a developer. I actually enjoy writing code. Like, I actually look at it as an art form too, not just something, hey, I just make money.
Yeah. I mean, so when I do try to think of like a technology, I think the things that I think about are how much support material is out there, what's the community like, and sometimes I think about like the APK size and what's supported. So like if I have a client come to me and say we have this Bluetooth device we want to connect to, whatever, and I gotta think, is there a plugin or is there a way that communicates with a Bluetooth over whatever protocols or, but mostly it's all functions, methods, if statements, loops, while, whatever at the end of the day.
I would like to have guests, they don't have to be high profile developers, just anyone that want to talk about their apps or talk about their experiences as a developer.
Cool.
I think we all have unique perspectives on how we look at software development or how we got into it. And you don't know who you might inspire.
Awesome. All right. So, So anyway, Pork Pie Software is a listener, nice one, Bart Rocca. Yeah, that was cool. Fist 007 says, for Black Hat ASO SEO, it's always better to play by the rules. You never know when you'll get caught. It's how I think of it anyway. I think of it that way too, which I'm always afraid of getting caught by Google or whoever. I see Roy Herwager says, hey, hi, Amsterdam here. Amsterdam, cool. Dominique, more light on your face is one big black screen. Need more light on your face. All right, we'll do that next time.
Right. Yeah, you
Sorry about that.
It's my first time doing a live YouTube, like I said. So just, it'll get better next time. I might film at a different location too.
Let's see. Trigger says, can you show one of your apps? Can you show your apps, Appaveli? I don't know. Do you want to?
Sure. Why not?
Do you want to share your screen, or should I?
You can go ahead because I don't.
Let's see. All right, let's go. I'll share my screen here. Oops. And the website is appaveli.com.
Yeah, and you can actually go to, I think I fixed the broken links. And you can click on my basketball playbook and you can look at that app.
Okay, which other basketball playbook?
It should take you to a website for my basketball playbook. Or you can just type my basketball playbook for Windows, and it should show up in Google.
Let's see. Did I do something wrong?
Yep, you can scroll down, and you can. That was the right site. You were on the right site.
Oh, was it?
You can.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go back.
Oh, to this one? Sorry, I
Well,
think there's probably a delay, isn't there? I should share my screen.
Yeah. So I think you clicked on the play, the Google one, the Android. I kind of want to go through the Windows first, and then we can look at the Android. Because I feel like we show a lot of Android, iOS. I don't think no one really shows their Windows apps. So I think it'd be cool for people to see how apps look on the Windows Store.
On the Windows Store.
And I think Microsoft Badge is broken.
Okay, so State of the United States. Okay. All right. Oh, cool! It's got a video on it. Yeah, I've never seen a Microsoft app. So, and so is it more like a tablet application?
Yeah, you can say that. But a lot of touchscreen laptops can work for that as well.
I was looking at these the other day on Google Play, and I like the fact that you did the screenshots with because I know we say that when we look at other people's screenshots, it's like you're using stock images. It's not just the app itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of like to tell its own story. Cool.
And it's available on Xbox as well.
And you did this in C#?
Correct.
Cool. Awesome. Back to. All right. Let's see. Billy says Black Hat can be very dangerous. You would need to have very many Google Dev accounts, AdMob accounts, etc. It also requires you to spam the Play Store with spam apps. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when people always ask me, how can I set up a second Google Play account? And I've never done it because then you'd have to set up a different Gmail account. You'd have this whole, double life thing, whatever. And, and if one of them gets suspended, a lot of times just by association. I think that's why they're suspending accounts by association, just because of that kind of stuff. Let's see. Surgeon says, Dominique, I believe the ceiling lamp. Every question about the light. Still behind me is making your camera go dark. Oh, okay. Right.
I'm just gonna shut the screen to just be black and you don't see anything.
No, don't do that. I would just. Okay, let's go. Someone says, I think Epic Games here have some very good lawyers and most likely know what they're doing. Yeah, Epic Games are the Fortnite guys. It's true.
Oh, for the developers. So I mean, I hope it works out for them.
Yeah, but you're. I mean, I think that there should be some sort of in-app purchase. I mean, they are hosting our application. I mean, one of the things, when you do like a website, you pay for hosting. But if you do an app that doesn't have an API, they're paying for the hosting. They're doing the distribution for you, and anybody who does the distribution should get some sort of cut. So I mean, that's kind of one of the things I think. True. Is it okay to upload an app 2 times on Google Play, one paid without ads and one free with ads? That's what I do. I do that. That's exactly what I do. But so yes. Roy says, "Hey Eric, maybe your advice your guess on the light." No, okay. I think so. Yeah. Fistable says, "Hey Eric, the background of everything." Yeah, Eric has a background of everything that I love, except SharePoint, of course. You love SharePoint? God, are you trying to pick a fight with me? Okay, so Appaveli, I know you're a Microsoft guy too, but I hate SharePoint. I was a SharePoint developer for a couple of years, and I hated working on it.
Well, I don't use SharePoint, so
Oh yeah, yeah. It's because you got like the .NET. Oh, sorry, the .NET. The Microsoft. You have the like Razor and MVC framework and all that stuff. So it started to and then you've got the stuff that is just that dumbs it down like SharePoint and stuff. Uh, should put the SharePoint running joke in place. All right. UK Baz says finally Appaveli. Hi, Dom and Eric from sunny north of the UK. Is it sunny up there? It's cloudy here today. So cool. It sounds like we have a lot of people are fans of both of ours, which is or listeners, not fans. But Roy says, "Hey Eric, make your guest recognizable. You are recognized. He's Appaveli. He has a podcast." Graham Knight says Microsoft apps would potentially be great for getting client work. Yeah.
I guess well, that's actually a good point. Like some companies might use ASP.NET or like the company I'm working with, they have a Windows version of their application as well. I think it's a Win32 C++, but
yeah.
We're talking about actually making it to where you can distribute it in the Microsoft store. So I mean, I think I like I said, I'm a Microsoft guy, but I'm not. I don't think people should rule out publishing apps in the Microsoft store. Like, you can make money there if you build a good app.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's you go where you go where the users are. I mean, it's and every business book says, despite the fact that you want to sell to everybody, the more you niche, the more you find these pockets of profitability. And if and you're so
I know a developer who was a hardcore Windows Phone developer, and I think he made like 6 figures a year for a couple years just building Windows Phone apps. So, and that was a small market share, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's possible to make money if you build, a good product. I mean, I know we have iOS and Google, but there's other app stores besides Microsoft too, right? I mean, I don't know about Huawei, but
yeah,
you can publish in the Amazon App Store. You can publish in, I think Samsung has a store, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah. So yeah, I put a lot of stuff in Samsung to begin with.
we have developers. We have to diversify ourselves and try different things.
Yeah. Let's see. Modi says, "Okay, Eric, I've asked Steve now because you both start live stream at the same time. He has used a lot of Black Hat ASO, but you are not used Black Hat, so I respect you." Okay, well, ask him. Let us know what he says. Graham Knight says businesses use Windows in general, so it would be a good in. Well, I suppose. Fist 007 says, Appaveli, what framework do you use to build clients' Windows apps? WinForms, WPF, or UWP? I think you said UWP, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm sorry, but if you build a WPF or WinForms app, they have a framework called Xamarin Islands where you can make the app look modern like UWP. So it really doesn't really matter what you use at this point. Like, Microsoft has really kind of like unified all the frameworks.
Okay, cool. And Fist 007 says, also, I heard that Xamarin will target Windows. Is it true?
Yes.
Cool. All right, so Ada Max says, do you have a way of validating your app idea before you build them? God, I wish. No. Actually, do you? I've never done it.
What do you mean validating your idea? Like,
yeah, I think it's like if you know whether or not it's going to be successful. For me, I will ask, like, I usually run it by somebody. Like, I'll say, I have this idea, but sometimes, like, if somebody says it's not a good idea, I'm just going to do it anyway. Just I don't know that thing that if you
I think that's a judgment call, right, for the
yeah.
individual. And sometimes, you might get an idea just from talking to someone, and they might give you an app idea, and they don't realize it.
Yeah.
And sometimes that could be the success of an app. I think we think too hard if our app is going to be successful or not. I think just build it. That's just my mentality. Just build it and see what happens. It's not going to hurt if you build the app. Just build it. Who cares what other people think?
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so let's go to, okay, I'm going to, neurorhythmic test says reaction time test is by, I assume do you want us to look at this application? It's kind of just saying what it is. Let's come back. Appaveli, I don't want to, I know some of these times
You
he's
not see
like,
me looking off camera. I'm actually looking at the YouTube live, and I'm looking on my laptop at the same time.
yeah, I don't want to take too much of your time here too, though, because I know sometimes these could go on a bit long, these live streams. I should have said that to begin with, but so it's called reaction time test. We'll have a quick look at it, but we got to get to the rest of the questions too. So reaction time test. There's actually a lot of them by neurolist. Here we go. All right, so I have a quick look at the screen here. Oops, wrong one. Which is reaction time by neuro test. Let's see, we've got a few reviews, a few downloads, speed up your brain's reaction time. See, okay, I like the way that you have the video. Actually, I'm not going to play the video because last time I did the video, I got demonetized because it had music in it that wasn't allowed. But we got I like the way you're using non-screenshots, but I think the app looks very simple. I think if you have a little bit more on there, but I mean, what do the rest of you guys think? Let's go back to here. Let's see. Spencer Deppa says we get, huh?
No, I'm saying they do have a video. So
I know I was gonna play the video. Okay, yeah. Actually, let me go back and play the video because I may have gone through that a bit quick. But I have to play it without sound because last time I played it with somebody's video, I got demonetized because obviously they weren't allowed to use it. Okay, reaction time test. Improve your reaction speed. Football. I don't get it. I don't get what it does. I think if you were to show actually using it, but how's it doing? It's got 10 plus install. I think it needs to be a bit more clear what it does. It says speed up your brain's reaction time, but it doesn't quite say what it does. Let's see. Spencer says we get to code. Yeah, damn right we get to code. It's why, we get to do what we love. Let's see. Graham Knight says, yes, I love what you said, Appaveli. Developers need to learn the business development, marketing, relationship building, etc. Learn business, not just coding.
And that's that's something I had to learn. That didn't come overnight. Like I was in the beginning, I would just release apps, right? I would just publish the app, move on to the next, and so forth. And then I realized, you can't really just do that, right? I think a lot of times too, we'll look at the success of other developers and we hear about them in the mainstream media, and we're like, well, if that happened to them, well, let me build something that's similar. Or let me try to replicate their success. And I don't believe you can do that. You just have to kind of stay in your lane. And everyone's success is different. You can't really measure, this person, they make $12,000 a month, right?
Yeah.
So you can't get discouraged by that. Like, well, that's not going to happen to me. Or because if you try chasing that, then you're really getting away from your own purpose.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cool. Let's see. What do we got? So neurologic tests. We had a look at that. You could make a lot of money. Yeah. So Ruptapa says, "Hey guys, regarding the discussion of the % cut for the App Store, Google Play, etc. Tell me one thing: who decides the price of your own app? The downloader or you, the developer? That's the infra service cost." I suppose so. Let's see. Surgeon says the whole world is oversaturated, so developers should stop crying about it. Instead, focus on how to differentiate from other apps. Yeah, imagine if you made shoes or something. I mean, I'm sure like shoe manufacturers are like, dude, back in the old days when we were like, there were not that many companies, it was easy, but now it's hard. Or fashion, or whatever.
Look how many TV shows we have out now, right? We have a lot of movies on Netflix and shows. I mean, I'm sure the world is saturated. So
yeah.
But we live in a world based on consumerism, so people are going to always want more.
That's true. Yeah, and I mean, it's that whole how do you stand out from the crowd? Sujin also says we are so lucky that our product is digital and we can sell our product to everyone in the world with access to the internet. I imagine what a local flower shop will pay to have that option. Focus on the product and find a way to grow your business, and don't focus so much on earning to start with. That sounds great. Graham says, love it. Let's see. Roy says lightning. Was there lightning? Rodrigo says, oh, thought the live was at 6. Oh, sorry about that, Rodrigo. It's good to see you here. That's not, yeah. And then Letistic says that's not Rodrigo. That's true. Kiros System says, why does AdMob match rate so low on one app? Not at all. Other is good. Arab target. It could be the country. I'm not quite sure the question. Fist007 says, it's never about the language. It's about knowing what's required to build an app, starting the project to actually deploying it. Yeah, that's it. I mean, you could get really hung up on which technology to use that you never actually start. And it's the same with doing YouTube videos. Over the last couple of weeks, I've had a few people ask me they want to start their own YouTube channel, and they're kind of asking me my opinion. I'm like, kind of more like an app guy, but I'll say, okay, whatever. And it's always about what kind of camera do you want to use. And they go, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a nice microphone. And I'm like, that's a delaying tactic. That's, you can only research so much. You have to, if you spend longer than a day trying to decide whether or not which framework you want to go to or whatever, then you need to move on. I mean, and just start producing. Rodrigo says, I listen to a lot of podcasts 24, and I'd like to hear more is actual tips I can act on. That's true. I mean, but yeah, there's so much out there, but let's see. Sorry, I'm rushing through these Appaveli. I hope you're okay for time, but if you need to drop out, let me know. So Fist007 says, people think that starting a project is hard when actually finishing is the hardest part.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's true.
That's true. Like, it's, you can get started, but it's the grind, the journey,
Yeah. And I've talked about this before. I have so many projects that I've started, like on my own, that are just, they're lost in a drive someplace. I'm thinking, I'm going to go back to that one. And then they're just like, message. And I might work on them for a few days and then trail off or whatever. And sometimes, even with clients, it's hard to get them to finish. You're like, okay, this is it. That's it. There's no more changes. We're going live with this thing. And they're like, we've been thinking, we think we need to change it. It's like, no. You're getting cold feet. You got to go live.
So how many clients do you have at the moment? Are you just working with a few, or?
So right now I have a contract that I'm working with one company for a few days a week, which came in and I hadn't done any contracting since 2014, something. So it was right at the start of the pandemic, and they said, well, would you like to work us 3 days a week? So I was like, yeah. And at first I was kind of like, oh, I need to be doing more with other clients. And then it was like, when the pandemic hit and things started to get really scary, I was like, yes. Like, it was like, I'm also like really dedicated to doing the best I can with them. But that's like me as a coder. But then we have a lot of projects, which we have, I guess, about half a dozen. We got about 6 current clients, 6 current projects that are not that contract. So those are still going. Oh yeah, thanks everyone for smashing the like button. And also we're gonna put don't forget, Appaveli's podcast is called Straight Talk with Appaveli.
So why are you here with Appaveli?
Let's see. Shurjan says, Appaveli, I'll be joining your podcast if you need one guest. Well, there you go. Kawani Play says Flappy Bird was on the Play Store for 4 years until PewDiePie downloaded it, leading to its height of approximately $50,000 per day on AdMob. Yeah, it was been around for a while. Letistic says Appaveli, you have a YouTube channel? You do, don't you? Yeah, I've seen it.
Yep, this is Appaveli.
Appaveli. Let's see. Kwamina Play says marketing is key, and if the product is that good, organic growth will take over eventually. Yeah, you don't want to do. That's the thing. You could actually do the marketing and get people into it, and then you get all those bad reviews, and then you just ended up throwing all the money out. So I have to drip feed it first, test it out a little bit, and then do it. Let's see. Logistic says Flappy Bird is a very special case. I think the games-wise, Pokemon Go is still number one. Fortnite is getting up there. Ruptapa says, I'm not taking a high moral ground. Money is always a byproduct. Focus on the idea and the product. Cool. Yeah, I agree with that. I teach tech. Sorry, if I'm going too quick. If you want to weigh in on any of these, let me know.
You don't have to rush.
No, I think because we've never done
a lot of stuff we touched on. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to keep you going too long. You're like, man. So, I Teach Tech says, will I get any copyright strike by someone if I'm getting the data images from an API? No. I mean, it depends on the API.
Is it a public API or?
Yeah, if it's public if it's private and you're paying the license for it, you should be okay. But if copyright, no, it's a very generic question. So yeah, I mean, if it's public and you're allowed to use it, you can. It's like using any images. If you're any images or anything, if you have the permissions, you can.
Quick question: have you watched any baseball?
I've watched. I haven't seen any Padre games, but I watched a bit of. It was just whatever was on in the daytime in England, and it's really difficult, to watch the.
Okay.
It's the audio. That's the bit where I'm really don't like. I mean, because before I was like, I think you asked me months ago. I think on a live stream you said, "Would you watch the baseball without a crowd?" And I was like, I don't think it would be the same.
Yeah, it's okay. They have sound effects. I watch NBA, so NBA without a crowd is actually working pretty well.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think for me it's the sound effects are. It's because it sounds very realistic, and then you realize how predictable are we? That we they know exactly what we'll cheer for and what we won't. And because if there was no crowds cheering and there was nobody in the stands, that would be like a typical San Diego Padres mid-season game. So they still
bad, huh?
Well, no, they have some good seasons, but it's so yeah, I think that's the bit I don't like, because everything else is okay, they're still playing, they're still out there doing what they need to, it's a pandemic, they're still doing, they're entertaining us and everything, but the audio makes it sound it's that they're manufacturing something which is not authentic, is the thing that I don't like about it. But yeah, I mean, so you watch NBA. I've never got into NBA. I lived in San Antonio for a couple of years, and I never went to Spurs game. I've never been, I like to play basketball, but I've never actually been a fan.
Yeah, I love basketball.
Yeah. Let's see. Taruna Rachman says, what do you think about PWA? We talk about PWA a lot, and it's one of those things where everyone says PWAs are going to be the next big thing, and they said it last year and the year before and the year before that. And I think some things you don't need an app for, but a PWA would come in really handy.
Again, that's one of those, what is the use case, right?
Yeah.
You have to look at, would a UWP be a better option for me, or should I build a native? Should I use Xamarin? That's up to you or the organization that wants to publish an app, right?
Yeah.
So in some instances, PWAs make sense.
Yeah, I always thought like I would have like I would have clients come to me and they want an app for like a shopping or like the kind of thing. Let's say like it's an example. This is not somebody I talk to, but like a roofing company. A roofing company would say, "We want an app so customers can download it and then they can choose what kind of roof they want to get and do the measurements and everything." It says they will use it one time and they'll delete it. It sounds like a lot, but like a PWA, that would be perfect for. Um,
So
something that
I also want to mention too. We get a lot of questions about frameworks, right?
yeah,
And it's nothing. There's nothing wrong with frameworks. I'm a firm believer that you should always know the core technology of the platform you're building for. At least have knowledge of it, because
yeah,
if you work with the framework and something goes wrong, you can easily troubleshoot the issue. If you just jump in, okay, I'm going to learn this framework, but you don't really know the core language of that platform, you might have problems in the long run. So like if I just started doing Android development without understanding core Java, I wouldn't be able to debug Android applications effectively.
that's true, and that's one of the things I think that separates the good developers from the bad is that when everything goes right and it's exactly like the tutorial, then everything is good. But then when something goes wrong, you need to know where to look, where are the logs, how do you look at logcat, how do you, you know, you become a detective and you need to know where all the clues are. It's the same when I was doing Windows development, and you're like, let's check the registry, let's check here, let's check that, let's check the logs, let's check. It was always started with Event Viewer, or like you just like, and I would work with people who were doing the same job I did, and they didn't even know what Event Viewer was. It was like just like you got to know where to look for stuff, and on Android, it's like, do you get anything in the crash logs on Crashlytics? Did you even put anything in there? Do you have like new developers will put try catch and nothing in the catch because it'll never fail. But
Right.
yeah, but you have
And
to
also,
yeah
like Xamarin, like you still have to know the architecture of each platform. It's wrapped around C sharp. You have to understand the architecture in Android of activities.
yeah
You have to understand iOS, like the flow,
yeah.
the flow of each platform. So if you do at least read about it and play around with the native technologies, it will help you when you use the frameworks.
Yeah, it's true. Fist 007 says Appaveli is like, don't come on the Microsoft store, leave me alone there. You were encouraging everybody going there. Let's see. Rizwan says, Ola, looks like my suggestion is taken into account. Okay, was that to have different people on the thing? By the way, I've said this before about Appaveli. I really appreciate you being here today.
I appreciate it. I would do this again.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Actually, what I'll do is I'll do it from my phone. I'm going to get a tripod that'll help with the lighting. I'm on my Mac right now at my desk, so it's just kind of.
Let's see. Theo Taylor says the less popular stores have to be kinder to developers, so that's also a plus. I don't know if that's the case.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't know. I know I saw paid developers 80% revenue, so.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Let's see. Hi, how can I take advantage of the Fortnite removal from Google and App Stores? How can you take advantage of it?
You can't.
Yeah. Unless you put a clone out. I mean, yeah. I can't think of any way that's not to it. Kwamena says, just build it and see what happens. Appaveli. That's not what you said. You said you just
I did.
started it, huh?
Well, yeah, I did say that. I think when I did say just build it and see what happens. I think we were talking about ideas.
Oh yeah.
Other people, yeah.
Well, that's true. Yeah, you're never gonna know. You're never gonna have certainty. If you had certainty, it would be easy, right? We would just be able to say, I was gonna do this app, but then I knew it wasn't gonna be successful, so that I would do it. Like you're always hoping it's gonna be successful.
And 9 times out of 10, the app, when you second guess yourself, it might be your most successful app. So that's why I say just build it and see what happens.
See, Graham Knight says MVP apps are great. Start small, see what happens, and grow from there.
Exactly.
Users always tell you the thing you never thought of. That's true.
When you're an app publisher, it's like an agile process, right? It's constant iterations.
Yeah, and you don't know you'll never know everything until you go live. I mean, you're just gonna find so much out when you go live. So, the more you put that off and think, I had another idea and I need to put it in there, like you're not going to know anything. You're like missing this feedback loop, which goes in there. So, I can take advantage of Fortnite. I think some of these went in there. So, Rizwan says, my question regarding project management, what tool to manage project sprints? Kanban or Agile Scrum? As a single freelancer, it's hard to code and manage. As a single freelancer, do you even need a project management framework? I mean, I we like to use Scrum, but like I've used Scrum on my own, where I was like the only developer on a project. I said, you can use that Scrum you keep talking about. And I did my burn down chart and everything, and nobody cared. And in the end, it was just like, give me my task list and I'm just going to get through all this stuff. But how about you, Appaveli?
Well, when you're independent, it's difficult when you work in a team. You can use software like Jira or but when it's just you can a to-do list. You can use Excel spreadsheet or something like that. Like, it doesn't have to be, because it's just you. Like, what you need to get done. But when you work with a few more people, that's when you should really focus on the tools that you want to use.
Yeah, I use like Trello, but I use it just like a to-do list, right? It's like I have a column of things to do and a column of done.
That's probably the best tool for freelancers is Trello, actually.
Yeah, probably. Let's see. Letistic says, I agree. Reaction time app does not say what the app does. I'm sure that if you explain the description, but the video needs some work, just go to Fiverr and a pro will do it for you for like $20 or less. Okay. Fistolo7 says, we only see what's visible of a successful person's experience. We don't get to see the downs and the sweat and the hustle and what makes it even harder to those seeking success. Yeah, definitely.
I want to mention something. So the reason I started watching your channel is because you're authentic, right? You get a lot of YouTubers. I'm not going to say any names, but where they'll tell you, if you want this success, this is what you have to do. And 9 times out of 10, they're not doing it. They're making money telling you how to be successful, right? Without doing these things. So you being transparent, I really appreciate that, because you don't really get that a lot. With people being transparent of, how their apps are doing and their ups and downs. You get people saying, hey, you got to work and don't sleep. Go days with no sleep. Like, I don't believe in all that. I think you have to kind of figure out what works for you. We can learn from each other and incorporate into our daily lives and, what works best for the individual.
Thanks. I really appreciate that. No, I think for me, I think it's when you see somebody who does talk about, because we're all on this same journey together, right? And if we all band together and say, this worked, that didn't work, whatever, rather than, I'll give you all the secrets to success. We just hear that again and again. And
yeah, they're making money selling you a dream, basically.
Yeah. But that's what it was like when I released my first app. And I remember I was working in this office and somebody said, you should write a book on how to get rich doing apps. And I said, but I'm not rich with apps. And they go, no, you need to sell the dream. And it's like, and even like people were like friends of mine, you need to sell the dream. And I'm like, you know what? And, and there's part of me, like even when I did that video today, and I'm like, is it even worth putting stuff on the App Store? There's part of me thinking, I won't get any clients if I say that. But then it's also like something that, it is something to think about. There's like, we should all.
You totally, like, this is how you feel. It's just you're giving a different perspective. And most people don't do that. So most people won't talk about the dark days.
Yeah.
So I think it's good to talk about the good and the bad.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think
it's a perspective instead of just, it's all, it's perfect, and nothing's perfect.
Yeah, that's true. It's never easy. Rodrigo says, everyone hit the like button. Yeah, thanks, Rodrigo. Everyone hit the like button. Kiro System says, match rate so low on AdMob, only $1 per app. I have installed from Iraq and Egypt. Could it just be because of the country install? It could be. Check the RPMs and check it against other countries. Fistova says, straight talk with Appaveli. Okay, yeah, I'm a bit behind with some of these. Logistic, the NBA is doing great with the pandemic. They figured it out. I saw a news story on that saying MLB is doing like terrible with and what is it? Because the NBA is they're like sequestered, aren't they?
They're in Orlando, right? So the players they're in this bubble. They can't leave. You know, they're and you can't have guests. You know, they're not having people in and out of the bubble, so everyone's just there, and that's the way they're maintaining the spread of the virus. So
Are they all in Orlando?
Yes. Yeah, I believe they're in Orlando.
Every team. Oh, okay.
Well, not every team. Like there's like a select teams like who have a chance to make the playoffs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. See,
and the playoffs are actually starting Monday.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. I would imagine, yeah, if you were like a professional athlete, you would agree to that. Graham Knight says, "Go Raptors." Fist Double of 7 says, "Sounds like pizza time." Oh yeah, I get pizza at the end of each thing, which is why I'm so thin and healthy. By the way, I don't know if you guys have noticed my let's see, move this out of the way. When I sweat, I get this like under the moobs thing. It's like so embarrassing. So Julio Cruz says, "What's the next guest for Overpass Live? I like this format of streaming." Okay, I asked Appaveli on Wednesday. To be honest, I think so. I'm not really. I was like talking with my team, and I said, maybe we should like plan this a little bit better. So I really appreciate the short notice, Appaveli coming on. But
and next time, like I said, I'll be better prepared. Like with lighting stuff, it's kind of like
I asked you yesterday, and then this morning I said, "Are you still available for today?" And then it was like,
yeah.
And then 10 minutes before. Let's see. Fist Double says having superficial knowledge will hurt you deeply. That's for sure. Yeah, you have to.
Is there a way we can get more than one guest? Like if you can do 2 or 3 people, I think that'd be cool to have a panel.
That would be cool. The only way I can think of it is like maybe Google Hangouts or something. I'll have to check on
Google Meet. Yeah, Google Meet.
Oh, yeah, Google. Yeah, sorry, I'm so old. Google Meet. Graham Knight says, "I was told that I was insane to start developing a native Android app that I will port over to iOS instead of using Ionic. As I said, gotta understand the platform." See there, Graham Knight. Let's see. Store pizza. I think as a solo developer, Kanban board is sufficient. The key is to use it religiously and with consistency. And Graham Knight says, "Haha, I could have a PhD in screwing up." Dude, we all could. All right. Well, Appaveli, thank you so much. Okay, and then Rodrigo says Zoom works perfectly for a panel of people. Yeah, but can we stream it at the same time? I'll have to look into that.
With Zoom, you only get like an hour or like.
I have the paid Zoom, but I don't. Can you stream it onto YouTube at the same time, or does everybody have to join that Zoom call?
It's a good question.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking, like how to do it. So, and Fist Up says, "Have a nice weekend." Appaveli, thank you so much for joining today. I really appreciate it. It's like nice to finally meet you after chatting with you so many times.
It's been a year. I've been watching probably 2 years now. I've been watching your channel, and to actually get the chance to talk to you is pretty cool.
That was fun. Yeah.
I've been every Friday. I've always tuned in every Friday.
Oh, I appreciate it. And everybody, hey, thanks everybody for joining the live stream this week. I'll do some videos this week. Appaveli's got his podcast over at it's on appaveli.com, but is it on Apple? It's on Apple Podcasts.
It's on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Okay, cool. So and that's called
Wired In with
My
Appaveli.
Time with what?
Wired In with Appaveli.
I'm just kidding. Wired In with Appaveli. And I hope you guys stay healthy, stay safe, have a great week, and we'll talk to you next time. See you later.
See you later, everyone.